Hello guys, so I'm gonna be making this pretty late because at the time I was busy talking to my father. But either way, continuing on with the episode. Hello guys, I am back from another video and today it's about what if Deku was in high school DxD. So, in the last video we talked about how after arriving in class, we would be introduced to a new student, more specifically Ravel Phoenix, otherwise known as, my favorite girl in high school DxD, right next to Sona, and actually, yeah, sort of, a bit of like Joan, or Jean of Arc, or whatever you want to call her, because even though she's not my Jean of Arc, I still sort of like her. Kind of. And I also like Yusaka. You can probably know why. But either way, continue on with the episode. Anyway, continue on with the episode. We go back to, Izuku and the rest of, the people there. And they were pretty much, confused after seeing her. Most of them were just, going I just hope she's not. And then they all, hear, oh, hi, Izuku. And that is where shit goes basically shit hits the fan really fast. Let's just say every girl is basically, wanting to murder the girl because they already know that that she's probably in a relationship with Izuku, or at least sort of. And she definitely seems to be, you know, doing the moves on him. Which, by the way, let's just say, Katase and, Murayama are planning to just, murder her with their kendo sticks at this point. So, yeah, anyway, continuing on with the episode. After that, we go back to, to Izuku as they're gonna get, as they're gonna be getting their, physical exams. And after getting there, he would notice, instead of the usual nurse, instead it's Aisha. Aisha in a nurse outfit, which, by the way, let's just say the skirt is not really, ethically, or at least, proper, at least. And so, let's just say, she decides to just, do a little bit of fun with him. Oh boy, more specifically, trying to fill him up, which, Izuku was just, terrified with. And after the physical exam, he would instantly start running, basically getting out of there. And so, after that, we go back to Izuku, basically leaving the school to basically go back home. But after arriving home, he would notice, let's just say something interesting. More specifically, his parents' home. His parents are basically there now. He can see, a certain car of theirs. AKA, Izuku's old family car. Which was basically like a limousine, but shorter. And after going inside, he would notice, all three of the girls, specifically Cowmanner, Millet, and also Raider, basically, talking to both of Izuku's parents, aka Inko and Asashi Midoriya, which, by the way, yeah, I'm keeping their names from My Hero Academia because it's much more easier. Yeah, I know. Or at least some of you are basically saying that to yourselves. And, it's kind of easy why I'm going to be doing that. Because, easy, ha ha ha, not really remembering. But I honestly don't really care for, making new, characters for now. So yeah, anyway, continuing on. And also, I'm also pretty much wondering about this. Actually, I'll just tell you all later after, this. But after a bit of talking and also, the reunion, they would start, eating dinner. As everybody, or more specifically his parents, are basically teasing him for basically having 3 maids with him. And, his dad would ask if one of these girls is actually in love with him. Most of them, specifically not Cowanner, I meant, Rainer and also Millet, just consider him as like a little brother or big brother in some cases. Which, let's just say Rainer was basically, having a bit of fun basically teasing her for that. More specifically Millet, because big brother, because she's small. But either way, then we go to Cowwinner, as Cowwinner is basically blushing up a storm. Basically to the point that her face can probably camouflage through and the Gremory hair. Anybody that literally has, red hair, or at least, anybody of the Gremory descent. Anyway, continuing on. After that, everybody would slowly, start to go back to sleep, or at least go to sleep. And so after that, we would see Izuku getting ready to train with, with Issei. And after a bit of training with her, and also, after, the student council, and also, the, the orc, or at least the orc club basically arrived as they were watching them basically fight. And after a bit of fighting, you know, Izuku would confirm that she is perfect for basically fighting off, you know, her so-called rival. And so that is where we basically ended off the episode. Sort of. We go to a different perspective, more specifically, the perspective of two of the biblical faction leaders. More specifically, Azazel and Sirsages Lucifer, or I'm just gonna be calling him Sirsages, or it's still a pretty much an annoying name to say, but either way, after meeting up with them, he would also they would basically start talking mostly about how this man, which apparently basically told him to come there, was maybe doing a declaration of war. But when the person arrived, this man by the name of Michael, or otherwise known as the Archangel Michael, the leader, or at least um, the sort of like de facto leader of of the heavenly faction, aka the Catholic Church, aka any Christian based area like the Philippines, which I'm probably gonna be adding into this maybe. It's just a maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's just a maybe. But either way, after that, see him basically telling them the reason why they're meeting here. It's for it's for negotiations for peace. And after that, that is where we basically ended off the episode. And so, let us talk about what happens next. Actually, before we actually start, I have a little bit of a question. Do you guys want me to make little episodes or one shots? They're basically little side stories, I guess you can say, of ideas that I had in my mind. Mostly ones that I couldn't make in Wattpad. More like, for example, a series about a character, or at least an OC that I made. Most of them are actually from one of my drawings, and I'm probably gonna be showing them in the future, maybe as just um designs for Izuku or Bell designs. But I really want to do that. If you want me to do that, then just comment down below for yes or no. But either way, let's continue on with the episode, shall we, ladies and gents? So, we go back to Izuku, as Izuku is waking up pretty early in the morning, as he would say this. Well, that was a great nap, he would say, as he would start stretching his body a little bit, as he would say this. Now, let's get ready for... As before he could say anything else, he would hear the door, knocking, as he would say this. Come in, he would say, as after saying that, one of his, parents, specifically his mom, would say this. Sweetie, can you open the door? As he would say this. Sure, he would say, as after walking up to the door, he would open it and would see his mom, as she would say this. Well, sweetie, she would say, as he would say this. Yeah, mom, he would say, as she would say this. Well, apparently your friend here is actually, wanted to talk to you, she would say, as he would say this. Friend, he would say. As after saying that, he would slowly start going into, start leaving to go to the, to the front door. As after arriving at the front door, he would open it and would see Saji? As he would say this. Oh, hi, he would say, as he would say this. What is it, Saji? He would say, as after saying that, Saji would say this. Well, the president wants to talk to you. Can you come to school early later? As he would say this. Fine, just let me, finish changing my clothes, okay? As he would say this. Okay, I'll just be waiting outside, he would say. As after saying that, he would start leaving the premises, but, just staying outside near the gate. After Izuku changed his clothes, including getting his bag, he would say this. Alright, bye mom, he would say, as one of them would say this, specifically his dad. Son, why are you leaving so early, he would say, as he would say this. Student council president, I'm actually a sort of a part of, wait for a second, guys. Sort of a part of the student council, he would say, as he would say this. Really then? Huh. So, by the way, kiddo, he would say, as he would say this. Yeah, he would say, as he would say this. Tell your friend over there that maybe you can, maybe play a game of billiards later, he would say, as he would say this. Sure, he would say, if he can play, as he would say. As after saying that, he would say this. Good kiddo, he would say. As after saying that, he would start leaving with Saji. As after a bit of walking, Saji would say this. So, that's your mom and dad? As he would say this. Wait for a second. Sorry about that. Anyway, continuing on, as Saji would say this. So, that are your parents? He would say, as he would say this. Yep, they recently came back, and don't worry, they don't really know that, my roommates or quote-unquote mates are actually fallen angels, he would say, as he would say this. I see, he would say. As after a bit of walking, they finally arrived at school. As they would slowly start going towards, the student council office, as after arriving there, he would see Sona and also, and the others, as Sona would say this. Ah, Izuku, you're finally here, she would say, as he would say this. Yes, Sona, he would say, as Tsubaki would say this. Hey, are you okay? She would say, as he would say this. Yep, still pretty much sleepy, he would say, as one of them would say this. Really? Then why is that? Said, one of these student council members, as he would say this. My parents finally arrived and, let's just say I was stressing out, he would say. As one of them would say this. Wait, your parents are here? Wow, what a coincidence, she would say, as he would say this. Why though, he would say, as one of them would say this. Well, tomorrow is, or at least, next week is going to be, Parents' Day. And you probably know why, she would say, as he would say this. Don't tell me that, as she would say this. Yep, all of us are going to be sending our parents here. Or maybe even, or even our, some of our family members, she would say. As he would say this. Fucking damn it, he would say, as he would slowly, slam his, face onto the, on, Sona's desk, as everybody would say this. Oh, what happened? As, Saji would say this. Dude, are you okay? As he would say this. Yeah, just fucking sleepy, he would say. As one of them would say this. Yeesh, you definitely look super bad, he would say. As he would say this. Yeah, I know. I didn't even get to make coffee, he would say. Someone would say this. Maybe we can, hey, as she would slowly look towards one of her, members, as she would say this. Can you please, please get Izuku a coffee, she would say, as she would say this. Oh, sure, she would say. As after saying so, he would say this. Thanks, Sona, he would say. You're kind of the best, he would say. As after saying that, she would slowly start to blush as she would say this. Wait, really? She would say? As he would say this. Yeah. I'm actually pretty thankful that you're my wife. Or at least soon to be, he would say. As he would start to smile a little bit. As, she would start to blush a little bit as she would say this. Yeah, she would say. As she would slowly start, scratching the back of her, head. As most of the, student council, like, for example, the random, the not so known ones like Momo or, and Tsubaki are basically just like, snickering a little bit. Well, Momo's a bit jealous and Tsubaki's a bit, sort of indifferent, but she does like Izuku. Mostly, as sort of a friend, sort of. And that is going to be a later episode. Ooh. But either way, we continue on with the episode as we go back to Izuku finishing up the, the coffee, as he would say this. I feel much better, he would say, as, some of his, the bits of, of, I guess you could say, of eye bags there, they're basically sort of gone, as he would say this. Anyway, I'm gonna be leaving now for class, he would say, as she would say this. Oh, good luck, she would say, as after saying that, Izuku would finally arrive at his class, as class would start. After a bit of talking, and also, a bit of discussions, he would slowly start to leave. And after, leaving, he would notice, Tsubaki and, Katase, as Katase would say this. Hey, wait for a second. As Katase would say this. Hey, Izuku, she would say, as he would say this. Yeah, he would say, as she would say this. Well, about our date, can we have it tomorrow, she would say, as he would say this. Oh, yeah, about that, he would say, as she would say this. Specifically, Moriyama. Yeah, what about it, she would say, as he would say this. Well, you see, my parents actually arrived here now, and are sort of planning to go on a family outing, he would say. And it's actually true, I forgot to say that. Sort of. I sort of implied it, sort of, but either way, as one of them would say this. Wait, your parents are here, she would say? As he would say this. Yep, apparently they're going to be working here now. And let's just say I'm sort of still tired, but not as much as, as now, he would say. As one of them would say this. So, how about, can we, as he would say this. Yeah, why about, later on, he would say. As one of them would say this. Huh. Actually, yeah, that's definitely sounds like a good idea, she would say. As he would say this. Well then, see ya, I guess, as after saying that, they would say goodbye to him. So, after saying that, he would slowly start to leave, but before he can, he would notice the rest of the Orc Club, as one of them would say this, specifically, Kaneko. So, did you get the message from Sona, she would say, as he would say this. Yep, the whole, Parents' Day, I'm definitely not excited, he would say, as one of them would say this, specifically, one of them. Let's for say, as one of them would say this, specifically, what's her face? Yeah, Issei, as she would say this. Why, she would say, as he would say this. My mother and father's here, my parents. And I could definitely see them trying to embarrass me, he would say, as one of them would say this. Typical parents, she would say, specifically, Riaz, as one of them would say this. I do sort of agree, said Issei, as we see, after hearing that, we also see, well, her, otherwise known as, the BDSM queen herself, aka, well, Akeno, as she would flinch at that statement, as she would see this. Parents, she would say, as her smile, or at least her used-to-be smile, is now sort of gone, as she would say this. Hey, are you okay, he would say, as she would say this. Oh, I'm fine, she would say, as after saying that, she would slowly look towards, Izuku once again, as she would say this. Well then, see you tomorrow, she would say, as he would say this. See you tomorrow, I guess, she would say, as after leaving, we see, Kiba there basically saying, maybe I should introduce myself to his parents. Maybe even, yeah, her, she would say to herself. As she would start remembering about, Sona, as she would say this. But either way, I could definitely try and find a way to basically get him, get him into my side, she would say. Maybe even, as she would start thinking a lot, and I mean a lot of things, to say the least. As, we also see Irina there. As Irina is basically, leaving as well, as she would say this. Maybe go talk to them maybe later. It's been a long time since I actually seen, Aunt Inko Aunt Inko and also Uncle Sashi, she would say. As, after that, we go back to Izuku back at home, as he was basically eating with the rest of them, as he would say this. Hey, Mom, Dad, he would say, as one of them would say this. Yeah, son, said Hasashi, as he would say this. Well, you see, apparently next week is going to be, what's that called again? As one of them would say this, specifically his mom. Oh, really? Then, if it's going to be, Parents' Day next week, maybe I should maybe get a potluck or something, she would say, as he would say this. Oh, no, you don't really need to do that or anything. As, his dad would say this. Maybe you should go get the Irish beer. After all, I did work in Ireland for a time now, he would say, as he would say this. Wait, you gone to Ireland, he would say, as he would say this. Yeah. I actually go there for, for the business trip. Or at least, sort of. I mean, we did, do mostly our work in, in England, but most of the time we go to Ireland to basically, to do business trips. Yeah, he would say. As after saying that, his mother would say this. Yeah, it's actually quite funny to basically go there. Especially with some of the mad drunks, she would say, as he would say this. Yeah, those damn ruffians. Especially the ones that try to, steal you, honey, he would say. As she would say this. Oh, you, she would say, as both of them would just look in each other's eyes. As he would say this. Specifically, Izuku. I'm starting to think that this is more like, one of those sitcoms, he would say to himself. As after saying that, they would basically, prepare to get some sleep, as he would say this. Alright, Dad. I'm gonna be getting some sleep now, as one of them would say this. Sure then, honey, she would say, as one of them would say this. By the way, son, as he would say this. Yeah, Dad, he would say. Do you perhaps have a girlfriend, he would say, as Izuku would froze, because he technically doesn't have a girlfriend, it's more like a freaking wife. As he would say this. No, I don't really have a girlfriend right now. By the way, bye, he would say. As after saying that, he would start leaving. As one of them would say this. He must be lying, he would say. As one of them would say this. Probably, she would say. As after saying that, they would slowly start, going to their rooms as they would, instantly fall asleep. So, the next day, as we currently see, actually, I'm just gonna be, wait for a second. God dang it, something happened. Seriously, again? It's raining. And I also got a notification that it's saying that there's going to be a freaking thunderstorm. Great! Just hope it doesn't, cause the electricity to go bye-bye. Anyway, continuing on, as we go back to, Izuku basically waking up early in the morning, as it's currently the weekends now. We basically, skipped, a few days, or at least a few weeks of, of this time, but either way, as we see Izuku preparing to leave, as he would say goodbye to his parents. So, after, doing so, he would slowly start texting Katase and Moriyama, saying that he's going to be going to the mall to basically meet up with them for their little date. As after saying so, he would slowly start leaving. But, we go to a different perspective, specifically someone nearby, as this person seems to be a girl. And it seems to be the girl in the gothic Lolita type outfit, as it seems to be a little bit different. As she would also be wearing one of those I don't really know what to actually call it. It's basically one of those maid things that you would use in your head. Or at least mostly for girl maids. You basically get it. As the most noticeable part is her exposed chest. Trust me, she doesn't have those big bazongazongs. They're more flat as a part. Just imagine Ina levels of flat. Oh god, if Ina were to see this, I'm fucked. Because I love her stuff. Actually, if Ina were to see this, I'm gonna freak out, actually. If she does, well, I'm definitely gonna be happy. But it's probably gonna be a slim-ass chance. But either way, just imagine her having, well, something covering her, nips. Actually, a little fun fact. In the Philippines, there's we have this off-brand version of M&Ms called Nips. And after I gotten older, Nips just sounded a bit no, because remember, Nips. If there is nips in like other countries, then if you realize that connection, I'm still sorry. And if you don't, here's the context. Jesus Christ. But either way, she seems to have something covering her, nips, which are, sort of like tape. Actually, do you know that certain like subgenre of like? Actually, I'm not even gonna say it. I'm probably gonna be demonetized. Um, you know, just imagine those like I'm not even gonna say it. The one that you wank off to. The certain content that you use to basically make yourself a little bit happier. Yeah, that. Basically that. They're basically like covering up her nipples, as you'd say this. So, you're going on a date with somebody other than me. Oh well. Guess I'll just tell one of my minions to take care of you, she would say, as she would snap her fingers, as a man would appear. As the man would resemble a armored-clad man with a mask obscuring his face. Just imagine one of those typical European-style armor, but his, instead of a helmet, it's a black mask that resembles a mask. The mask would resemble a half moon or a crescent moon, as it seems to be on the left side, as only the left eye is basically visible, and the left eye seems to be glowing a reddish color, as he would say this. What is it? Oh, this, he would say, as she would say this. Oh, I just wanted to take care of the girls over there. And also, please inform my mate, soon-to-be mate, that he'll be taken away. As after saying that, he would say this. At your service, my queen, he would say. As after saying that, he would slowly start disappearing, turning into a cloud of dust. As she would say this. Soon enough, you'll be mine, she would say. It's just a matter of time, she would say. As after saying that, she would slowly smile. As she would say this. I can definitely I don't know, she would say. As she would slowly start twirling her fingers, as she would say this. Just share you with some of the others, she would say. Especially Valley. She definitely deserves it, she would say. As after saying that, we go back to Izuku, and, Izuku's there just thinking to himself, why do I feel like something bad is gonna happen? As he would start shaking his head, as he would notice, a few people, running up to him. As he would notice that it was Katase and Murayama. As Katase would say this. Hey, Izuku, we're here! As Katase would say this. Specifically, I meant Murayama, as she would say this. Hey, Izuku, she would say, as Izuku would say this. Murayama, Murayama, Katase, he would say. As Murayama would say this. Oh, hi, Izuku. So, what do you want to do first, she would say. As Izuku would say this. Well, actually, I wanted to ask if you wanted to do anything by any chance, he would say. As one of them would say this. Actually, yeah, why not, she would say, said a interested Katase. As Murayama would say this. Oh, really, then what should we do? As she would say this. Why not go to the arcade, then maybe to the, to a nearby, pizzeria over there. And then we can maybe go shopping, she would say, as both of them would start to smile a little bit. A devious smile, to say the least, as Izuku would say this. Oh no, he would say. And during, their time basically enjoying each other, enjoying their company, enjoying each other's company, we also see the man basically watching them, as he would say this. So that's the man that's going to be married, or at least, going to be the mate of my queen. Very well. I shall call him my king, but those wenches, he would say. Those wenches don't deserve him, he would say. As a blackened, a sword made out of pure dark, energy. That's even just imagine the blackest paint that you can think of. I can't remember the actual name of that brand who actually made the first blackest paint, but just imagine something of that sort. As the dark, sword would start glowing a reddish, energy around it, as you would see this. I'll destroy those wenches, he would say. As he would start, shaking a little bit. Almost like, just imagine Lancelot in like Fate Grand, in Fate, Fate, yeah, Fate, Fate Zero, yeah, that one, where they first made their appearance, which, by the way, oh god, that was chilling. when he when I first saw him and he basically started shaking a little bit, it basically gave me visible ass goosebumps. But either way, continue on, as she would say this. Specifically Katase, as we go back to their perspective, as she would say this. Ooh, I want that one, she would say. As, we go to Izuku as they're currently in the stage of where they're basically shopping, as you would say this. Guys, I can't hold anymore, he would say, as one of them would say this. Oh, you can definitely hold something, she would say. Ooh, I want these, she would say. As Izuku is currently going to be using his credit card, which, even though it will not make a dent, it still feels hurting, or at least hurting himself. Especially with all of the weight that's currently upon him. Even though it's technically an exercise, but either way, anyway, continuing on with the episode, as she would basically, grab, one of the most heaviest looking shoes that you can think of. Just imagine one of those, steel tip boots, but instead of being steel tip, it's basically the entire foot. As she would say this, ooh, these look great, especially if it causes pain to those, to the perverts over there that keep looking at us, as he would say this. Really, he would say, said Izuku. As they would slowly start to feel a dark energy around him, as he would say this. May I ask who it is, he would say, as, one of them would say this. Well, it's, what's his name again? As they would say this. Matsuda and Monohama, they would say, as Izuku would say this. Well, time to start murdering again, he would say. As both of them would say this. Hold up, you gotta do that, as he would say this. Alright then, how do I say this, he would say. Make sure that they're, 6 feet under, he would say, as his smile would grow even wider. As his eyes would start becoming just one solid color. Actually, let me just search it up. Yeah, I couldn't find a picture similar to that, type of face, but just imagine like this. Just imagine having that face, this type of eyes where they're just one solid color. I mean, one solid color. I mean, one solid color. I meant, god dang it. But either way, he would also have this specific smile, which, oh boy, let's just say shit's about to go down. As Katase would say this. Hey, just calm down. You can do it later, he would say. She would say, as he would say this. Oh, okay then, he would say, as he would drop, the terrifying smell, as both of them would basically sign relief, as he would say this. But, if I ever hear them basically trying to, do anything perverted with you, as he would slowly turn back, as he would say this. Call me, and I'll make sure that they regret it, he would say. As, his eyes would, slowly turn into a different color. More specifically, his ghoul ones. As they would say this. Sure, Izuku, try not to, do anything rational or anything, do something, out of nothing serious, she would say, as he would say this. Oh, okay then, he would say, as after saying that, they would slowly leave the shop. So, after doing so, they would be outside of the mall, as they would start leaving to go to the park. As he would say this. Well, that was fun, he would say. So, after, a bit of walking through the park, as one of them would say this. Well, that was fun, said, Katase, as he would say this. I guess that really is fun, he would say. As one of them would say this. Yeah, really fun, said, Murayama, as Murayama would say this. So, by the way, your parents are actually gonna, are planning to go to, the, parents, the parents, they, I guess you say, event, she would say, as he would say this. Well, yeah, and let's just say they're definitely going to embarrass me, he would say, as one of them would say this. Really then, said, a interested Murayama, as he would say this. Yeah, and I'm definitely not excited for that, he would say, as one of them would say this. So, may I ask, as she would say this. Izuku would say this. Yeah, Murayama, as she would say this. Well, let me say this. What did they do before they actually, what did they actually do during their time basically overseas, as you would say this? Well, apparently they actually gone to, to England, and even gone to, Ireland most of the time. Mostly for business meetings or something, I don't really know all that much. At least that's what they say, as one of them say this. Really then? Huh. As she would start looking at these sequences again, as she would say this. Anyway, maybe we should start getting up, but before they can say anything else, a person would basically jump, basically jumps towards them. As one of them would basically, say this. What the? Who's that? Said, Katase. As the man would say this. You wenches, he would say. As one of them would say this. What do you mean by that? Said, a pretty much worried Katase. As Isekai would say this. Stay back, he would say. As he would start getting out his, start bringing out his, sacred gear, aka Dracul. As he would start pointing it at, at the, terrifying man. As he would see this. Ah, yes. My soon-to-be king, he would say. As he would say this. What? He would say. As he would say this. Oh, I'm guessing you don't know me. You may call me Luz de la Luna, he would say. As after saying that, he would say this. Very well, Luna. Or Duz de la Luna. As he would say this. By the way, why are you here, he would say. As he would start pointing a spear at them. As he would say this. I'm simply going to erase these damn wenches, he would say. As after saying that, he would say this. Wenches. I'm sorry, but I don't want people actually calling, my friends over here wenches, he would say. As he would say this. But they are. You're daring to try and defile yourself with these pathetic wenches? Besides, my mistress is much more better than them. My queen, he would say. As he would say this. What do you mean by that, and why are you calling her queen or anything? I don't really get it, he would say. As after saying that, he would say this. Oh, you will learn that very soon, he would say. As he would start getting ready his large sword, as he would say this. Now, cut him to pieces, he would say. As he would start, charging towards him, as he would say this. Take this, then. As he would start creating little sparks of, I guess you could say, sort of, red electricity around his, spear, as he would say this. Caustically Bay! As after saying that, he would throw the spear. As after doing so, out of the ground, several more polearms would basically come out of there. As he would start stabbing towards the man. As after doing so, the man would be pinned. As he would see this. Huh, that was easy. But before he could say anything else, the man would basically break out of the spears, including, Dracul. As Dracul would be recalled to his hand. As after doing so, Dracul would say this. He seems stronger than he seems. Definitely doesn't seem normal. I can smell a bit of draconic energy around him, he would say. As he would say this. Draconic energy, he would say. As you start looking at the man. As the man would slowly start, get out of there. But instead of healing, as he was about to think, well, instead, he was still pretty much bleeding, as he would say this. Significant damage. You truly are strong, my king. But unfortunately, those wenches are gonna be... Wait for a second. But unfortunately, those wenches are gonna be paying for daring to touch you, he would say, as he would slowly start, walking towards them. As Kitase and, Moriyama would be scared, as Izuku would say this. Don't you dare touch them, he would say, as he would start using, his spear to basically stab it into the ground, as several more spears would basically, block, Luz de la Luna from basically, trying to, from touching the girls, as he would say this. You're daring to try and protect them. Even though you're my king, I will not tolerate this, he would say. As he would, gets ready his sword, as he would say this. Now, slice them, he would say. As after saying that, he would, just sheath his sword, as after doing so, these spears would be cut into pieces like they were nothing. As in the process, it would cause both Murayama and Katase to be knocked out, as you would see this. Now, die, you wenches, he would say, as he would slash towards them, as the slash of, of light, I guess you could say, would launch towards them, as it would slice them, slice them in the chest, causing them to basically wince out in pain, as he would say this. No, he would say, as after saying that, both of them would be bleeding pretty much profusely, as he would say this. That's what you get, you wenches, he would say, as both of them would be knocked out instantly, as he would say this. Now, as for you, my ma, but before he can, he was gone, as he would say this. King, my king, where are you, he would say, as he would say this. I'm here, he would say, as after saying that, he would look towards, to the direction of his voice, as he would see him basically on top of a statue. Wait for a second. As after, after looking at the direction, he would see him on top of the statue, as all of his Kagane would basically be out. And by the way, he actually did erect a barrier. More specifically, Luz Del Luna. Luz Del Luna basically did that. As he would see this. What the? As he would see some of his, Kagane basically flowing in the wind. As his Kagane seemed to be rage fueled. Basically, just imagine them basically going all haywire a little bit. As he would say this. Now, pay with your life, he would say. As, his Kagane would slowly start turning darker. As a light spear would be erected. Not in that way. As the, large-ass, light spear would start, glowing a bit of, dark energy. As black flames would basically appear. As he would say this. Now, face this, he would say. As he would launch it towards, Luz Del Luna. As he would get stabbed by it. As he would say this. My king, he would say, as he would be launched towards, a different direction, more specifically, all the way up into the sky, as he would turn into a firework. After doing so, he would start falling to the ground, as after doing so, he would create a massive crater nearby in the tree lines, as he would say this. Better go see him, he would say, as he would slowly start flying with his Ukaku. As after arriving there, he would see him basically knocked out. Not really knocked out, but more like, knocked to the ground, as he would say this. My king, I will not lose. As he would slowly start grabbing his sword, as he would start transforming into a spear, as he would say this. Now, face the spear of lightning itself, he would say. As after saying that, he would slowly start activating his spear, as white electricity would start sparkling all over it, as he would say this. What is that, he would say to himself. Probably pretty strong. Probably should dodge it, he would say. As after saying that, the man, or, Luz Del Luna would start stretching his arm, as he would say this. Now! As he would start getting to throw it, as he would say its name. He would say, Lanza del Tueno, he would say, as he would throw it towards Izuku, as Izuku would say this. Nice little lance, but as he would start, spinning his spear a little bit, specifically, Dracul, as he would basically slice the spear in half, causing it to basically split in half, and would basically, explode, near him, but not, at him. Like, the explosion doesn't really hit him or all that much. As he would say this. Are you done? He would say, as he would say this. Failed you, my queen, he would say. Please, forgive me, he would say. As Izuku would basically put his, his spear towards his head, as he would say this. Now, die. As after saying this, he would cut off the head of, of his enemy. After doing so, the head would basically flop down, causing it to basically, splatter a lot of blood, nearby. As he would say this. Pathetic, he would say. As after saying that, he would say this. Oh yeah, Moriam and Katase, he would say, as he would start running towards their direction. As you would see them basically both, kind of hurt. As you would say this. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, he would say. As, Draco would say this. It seems that some of their vital organs seem to be damaged. It seems we can't replace them. Or at least we need to replace them at least, he would say. As he would say this. Shit, shit, shit. What am I supposed to do, he would say. As he would say this. Why not try and use your organs, he would say. Use your own organs to basically, do the transplant, as he would say this. But if I do, then they will become, as he would say this. Yes, yes, I know. But this is the only way for them to live. As he would say this. Guess it's time for me to do a little bit of experimentation, he would say. As after saying that, he would decide to use a magic circle to basically go to his, little lab, which is also his garage. And so after arriving there, he would see, he would be in front of a door. More specifically, a door that seems to be made out of iron. And after doing so, he would open the door as it would be revealed to be some sort of operation table. As he would say this. Hope you're still alive, he would say. As after saying that, we're gonna be ending this episode right off here. So yeah, so this is going to be the end of this episode, and oh boy, this is a pretty long one. Yeah, anyway, continue on. So yeah, I hope you liked the video, comment and subscribe, and I hope, I hope that all of you would, subscribe, or at least some of you guys that are new here. Well then, either way, bye-bye!